wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and a belated Happy New Year to account for everyone who's not going to see this episode until sometime in 2022.
Don't get me wrong. If I'm looking kind of dazzled, I see neon lights. Whenever you walk by,
I am late. This was not supposed to be the Thanksgiving episode of Press Conference. And my motivation, it's at a low. It's not at an all-time low, but it's certainly at a low. I have definitely been more excited to do these episodes in the past. The time is difficult. And I do have to say that my guest is the primary reason why this is an episode I wanted to get out. It just should have been out like a week ago. So, Thanksgiving. It's not one of my least favorite holidays, but it's certainly a holiday where I'm just like, can we just get through it? Because Monday morning is going to hit the same no matter what side dish you had. I'm thankful all the time, especially in a year like this. I'm blessed. I'm highly favored. And I'm really appreciative mostly of the people who don't leave me on red, because that keeps me going. I really am looking forward to whoever sees this episode. So I would truly do wish people had a happy Thanksgiving, but I also hope that people are thankful beyond Thanksgiving. That is all I've got to say. Let's get on with the rest of this.
I haven't been home in 2 years. So Thanksgiving of 2019 is the last time I was home at all. I'm thankful not to be traveling for Thanksgiving. I do miss being around the East Coast, the Eastern time zone. I'll be there soon enough. In the meantime, I've been quite a few places in the last 2 months. The last time I did a press conference episode, I was in San Francisco. It rained. It was not great. So good to be there, but man, traveling in the rain is terrible. Then I went to Portland, and that's where I learned how to use scooters. And let's just say that I don't have a car, but it is really cool to get on a scooter, but only in emergency because those prices kind of rack up fast. But I gotta thank Portland for teaching me how to scoot, so that's cool. Then I went to Minnesota, and it was still daylight savings, so it was great to be in Minnesota. It's really cool. They have like these tunnels, basically, these skyways, not tunnels, they're skyways. But I mean, again, I love public transportation. So public transportation, you have your lines, you have your stations, you have your pathways, and then there's the skyways. It's like you can get to here, you can get all around downtown. Don't have to go outside. It wasn't even that cold, so it didn't matter. I went to Memphis for the first time, and the food was great there. And let's just say 2 nights is probably not enough, but I'm glad that I got 2 nights in Memphis. New Orleans is a food city that I only got really one good night there, and I can't wait to go back there. That's the cool part about why these episodes aren't exactly coming in quick. Really been appreciative to see other places after an entire year in Los Angeles County. Today's guest on Press Conference from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, Jeremy Keys.
Got Jeremy Keys, member of the Hard Work Movement and other.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many other things you're a part of, man. I just know the one, and I only know about Hard Work Movement
not because of friends I've known for 20 years, but because you guys gave me a shirt one time and let me hang out with y'all. That's the only reason I can keep up with the hard work movement.
Listen, we have many a hard work story that you are a central character in. Do you remember with Method Man and Redman? Do you remember that concert when we got
I
into
do. I do.
Method Man's dressing room?
Yes.
That show was wild, and he got mad because people were eating this bowl of chicken that he had in the middle of the room, and he made everybody leave at the end of the night.
See, See, what's really interesting about that is I don't go to concerts at all, and that being at the I was at the Electric Factory, right, in Philadelphia. One of the few times I've gotten to go home. It's crazy. It's like we met, you and I, we finally met in person after you had spent a couple of years at Dickinson with the homie Dwight, aka Dunzy, aka London, right now, and um shout out to Sterling Duns, but we met at Dickinson during my city year. It was my first year out of college, and I mean, I was in Philly like that year, and then I was like, I'm going to the opposite coast. I never go home. I haven't been home in 2 years. Last time I was home was when I saw you. So it's like every time I go home, it's something memorable, especially when I
Yeah.
get to see the homies, especially when I don't have to be incognito, which, yeah, Dwight probably told you plenty of stories. Be like, yo, man, this will just be showing up. And
Bro,
then
literally just
sometimes,
sliding through. Literally just sliding through.
yeah,
It's never just a normal low-key night whenever you slide through. Like something crazy always happens. Remember, didn't we go see Charles Bradley together? Were you at that show?
yo, we did see Charles Bradley together, and I'm so grateful for you guys because, okay, so a show that I really enjoy on Netflix, and I really don't watch Netflix or anything. Someone asked me for my login, and I'm like,
You're like,
yeah, I don't have a login. Okay, I can't help
you're
you
asking
with
the
that.
wrong person.
But like, I love Big Mouth, and there's
Yeah,
a new
man.
season of episodes that just came out, and like, honestly, my favorite part of Big Mouth is the intros. They give you the option on Netflix to skip the intro. I'm like, the audacity! How dare you?
How dare you?
Rest in peace to a legend, Charles Bradley, man. Y'all introduced me to him. I would not like Big Mouth or that song, the theme song, nearly as much if I didn't come and see him, and it's all because of you guys.
Bro, that's actually an interesting. I would love to see a power ranking of shows that like you can't skip the intro. There's got to be like a list. It's like you can't watch like Family Matters and not listen to the intro. That's like blasphemy. Like you gotta sit in that, you know?
Well, what sucks is that you got so many shows that come out and they just like phone the intro in. They're
Phone
just
it in.
like, screw it, we're just gonna put a title card up. You can check, you can Google for the cast. Or if you want Amazon Prime, it's like, hey, you can do an X-ray vision. That way, when an actor you recognize shows up on the screen, we'll let you know. But other than that, don't worry about it.
Yo, I
You
love
know,
the vintage, like step by step. That John is literally like half the episode, that intro. They're
right.
always like at a theme park for a portion of it. It's great.
I did an episode of Press Conference a couple seasons ago because I was watching some of those Saturday morning cartoons from the 80s on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I was like, yo, you don't even have to watch the cartoon. Just look at the intro. They tell you the entire plot line in the
Yes.
damn intro. There is
Yes.
an episode, like, y'all, again, you can Google that part. Okay, the episode is out. We ain't here to talk about that. We here to talk about Jeremy Keys, and I asked you to be my guest as soon as you dropped me with your like horror flick music video.
I'm a king if I wanna be. No one's taking it away from me. I push the pace till my legs are drained. Go for miles like I'm Prefontaine. This city only saves who it wants to. Pack an empty duffel and we'll leave when the sun do. Fuck the world, it's just me and you. We just gotta keep on running. Keep on running, 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 keep on running.
I'm like, this dude is getting the weekend on. Because the weekend is taking the weekend off. We ain't see this bull since the pandemic started. Nah, we ain't see this bull since he went missing during his own Super Bowl performance. Bull's like, where am I at? So I appreciate you, Keys, for bringing your own vibe. Like I'm joking about you in the weekend. I mean, you're a legitimate, genuine artist on your own, and I thought that was so dope. So I just wanted to bring you on and talk about, let you tell the people about how that hall came together. Because I was like, I know that station. I used to get on, never the train. I would just go there for the G. That was the bus stop, and I'm like, oh, the train coming, but I don't need the train. I just need the G. The G, shout out to everybody who knows the struggle of SEPTA. But yeah,
Yo,
man, like,
I'll have to whip one
how
out.
did that all come together? I thought it was dope.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me too. I'm honored to be on Press Conference, bro. I've been watching your Johns for the longest time. It's always just good to talk to the brother Larry Murray. Yeah, man. I started doing this project, Keys and the Never Before, probably like a couple years ago. It's always been tough for me to release like solo music because it's so great playing in Hard Work Movement with like literally 9 other people. And that's like a different energy when you can just like be on stage, vibing, improvising. Like it's like the best feeling in the world. But I always wanted to try to do some other stuff and like play around with a different project. So worked with Akil Phillips, Friend Central alum.
I haven't met Akil, but I've seen his name in a lot of what you guys have been doing. So I mean, I'm familiar with the name, and it would be great to meet him sometime.
Yeah, man. He does some like really beautiful like production work. So I worked with him on like a couple of tracks for this EP I wanted to put out. Kind of like sat on it for a while. The pandemic happened. Motivation came in and out as it does from time to time. But really just eventually decided I wanted to like finish this thing. And one of the songs on that, like the first one that I wrote was the song called Prefontaine, over this like really like synth heavy, kind of like spooky, like synth driven beat that like Akil put together. And the song itself is kind of about like this feeling of like these things that you always like constantly try to like run away from, and like no matter where you go, like they always kind of catch up to you. So made me think about like Steve Prefontaine, famous runner, and this just like really like hyper competitive guy that like ran all of his life, but always had like some things following him, kind of like we all do. And like this idea of us, like the literal manifestation of like running from place to place and then having this like mysterious thing kind of follow you. And I think that like relates to a lot of different things, whether or not it's like insecurities or feelings that we have about ourselves, whether or not it's our relationship with other people. We all kind of have these things that we're trying to like escape when it's better to just kind of like face them head on. So I kind of wanted to like manifest that in the style of like those old 80s like B horror movies. My friend told me, I forget the name. Oh, Death Proof. It's this Kurt Russell movie. You ever see that? It's like, I think it might be a Tarantino short or something like that, but it's basically about this guy who like has this car and he'll like woo these women, invite them like into a car to like give them a ride, or people in general, and then just like ends up being like this murderer. It's like insane. It's like the cheesiest kind of thing I've ever seen. But like I wanted to do something in the style of like those old movies where like the protagonist is like not really the smartest, like isn't making like the best decisions. There's kind of like a funny element to it too, and like a certain like levity. But then there's also kind of like these moments of like, oh, this is like a little freaky. So we came up with this idea of like me running through like the suburbs of Philly while this man with a shovel is like chasing me while I'm making like these kind of terrible decisions like throughout. And it was just kind of fun. It was like there's some moments of like humor and levity, which are really great. I always kind of want to make things that has like a serious tone to it, but doesn't really take itself too seriously. So yeah, that's kind of how I got there.
So it's great that you put it out in October, right when everybody is getting in the spooky season. Now our
Yeah, man.
spooky season is whenever Mariah Carey emerges from the depths like a cicada after 17 years, but anyway,
What do you feel like is next for you as far as putting not just songs together, but like what do you think you got cooking as far as upcoming projects in general?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Definitely looking to do like another EP soon. In the process of like writing a lot of music, trying to like put some stuff together to get out. Collaborating with folks too is something that I really want to do more. So like on this video, like I worked with my buddy like James O'Brien who directed it. Like a whole bunch of people were like helping out on set, and then also like collaborating with like other musicians. So I think releasing another EP soon, and then putting together like a live performance with some folks who played in Hard Work too. So trying to like bring this baby to stage.
2020 was crazy with pandemic. I'm not sure how often you've even gotten to be on stage last year or this year. So it's cool to have something to look forward to. Another thing I'm looking forward to, and I didn't tell you this, is last time I did see you, you broke out the Stephen A impression, and that was way back in 2019. Lots happened since then. So, I mean, if I gave you 20 seconds to, basically recap the last 2 years, how would Stephen A do that?
Yeah, wow. Well, I think for one, it was a real difficult year for a lot of us out there. And I'm not saying all of this. I'm saying LeBron James, for instance. LeBron James thinks he's the best player on the planet, but let me tell you something, he's not. He's not, neither was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant on that team. Let me tell you something. Kevin Durant doesn't know what he's doing. I was talking to Steve Nash the other day. I went to his cousin's bar mitzvah. I was talking to Steve, and I said, Steve, what is Kevin doing? What is Kevin doing? And then Steve said, I don't know, because he doesn't know how to play the game. Let me give you a dark horse pick for the NBA Finals press conference. Let me tell you something. The Philadelphia 76ers, Ben Simmons coming back. He's going to put up 50 points a game. Something LeBron and Kevin Durant can't even think about doing. That's probably what Stephen A would say.
Oh, shoot. Now we got future content for 2022.
What happened to Max, man? Why did they do Max like that, man? Where'd Max go?
Hey, you could have told us that, but we'll have to say that for another time. That right there is the industry right there. But Keith, thank you so much for real though. Thank you for coming through. I got to give you the last words. So I wanted you to, if you got anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to shout out to take us out of here, floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. I mean, shout out to all of Hard Work Movement, all of those beautiful folks. Shout out to you, Larry Murray. I haven't seen you in so long and I miss you. And it's so good to hang out and chat. And I just want to leave us with this anecdote of last time I came to visit you in LA. You were teaching me how to play Street Fighter, and you were whooping my butt in Street Fighter for what felt like 15 hours. My man, Larry Bird knows all the combos in Street Fighter. It's like my man literally made the game. I was getting whooped, bro. You were cooking.
Thanks again to Jeremy Keys. And next week, Rhiannon Callis joins press conference. People might see this before Black Friday. And all I'm going to say is this. Nobody has time to guess what you want for the holidays. Speak now or sleep in heavenly peace. Good night.